This is Platinum Northwest TV News. Good evening and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Philadelphia Mangoeng. Let's take a quick look at the news making headlines. First up, the weekly high-density Operation Shanela led to the arrest of more than 1,400 suspects. An honest conversation with Khalelwayo hosts Empowering Pad a Child initiative. In the business news, the villagers market to celebrate Northwest local talent, culture and cuisine. And in the sports news, Age Group Cup finals confirmed as Border clinch Under-20 Shield Cup. We begin here the Enhanced Crime Prevention and Combating Weekly High-Density Operation Shanela 2 conducted between Monday the 6th and Sunday the 12th of October culminated in the arrest of 1,454 suspects for different transgressions across the province. The operations, among others, focused on the stop-and-search roadblocks, the confiscations of legal firearms, as well as visits to liquor outlets. The suspects included those arrested for murder, for robbery, rape, assault, illegal dealing in liquor, possession of drugs, and illegal possession of firearms. Out of the 1,454 suspects, 447 were circulated wanted suspects apprehended after being linked to the committed crimes through forensic DNA leads. Moreover, police confiscated a variety of drugs, 3 firearms, 108 rounds of ammunition, 3 vehicles, liquor, and tobacco product. Police spokesperson in the Northwest Province, Brigadier Sabata Mokhabona, says in Mahikeng, 5 Zimbabweans appeared before the Mabato Magistrates Court yesterday for the contravention of Section 83 of the Nature Conservation Ordinance. Here's more.
The weekly high-density Operation Shanela 2 operations conducted between Monday the 6th and Sunday 12 October 2025 culminated in the arrest of 1,454 suspects for different transgressions across the province. The suspects, among others, included those arrested for murder, robbery, rape, assault with intent to do grievous bodily harm in common, and burglary at business and residential premises. Out of the 1,454 suspects, 447 were circulated wanted suspects apprehended after being linked to the committed crimes through forensic DNA leads. Moreover, police confiscated a variety of drugs, firearms, rounds of ammunition, vehicles, liquor, and tobacco products. In Mahikeng, 5 Zimbabweans, that is 4 males and a female, aged between 22 and 38, appeared in the Mabato Magistrate Court on Monday, the 13th of October 2025, for contravention of Section 83AB of the Nature Conservation Ordinance number 12 of 1983. They were all remanded in custody until Friday, the 17th of October, for further investigations. All accused were arrested during a joint illegal fishing operation on Friday, the 10th of October 2025 at Tontonyani village in the policing precinct of Mabato. The team members were on duty when they spotted massive quantities of fish on the roof of a house next to the dam. Subsequent search conducted at the house led to the discovery of 8 bags and 2 boxes containing dry fish. The suspects were arrested after failing to account for the possession. 2 of the accused, that is a male and a female, are also facing additional charges of contravention of Section 49(1)A of the Immigration Act. The acting Provincial Commissioner of Northwest, Major General Patrick Asaneng, said, and I quote, "As we usher in the start of the very busy festive season, the South African Police Service, with all the security cluster and joint operational and intelligence departments, have intensified law enforcement and compliance inspection operations to create a safe, secure, and conducive environment for, among others, matriculation and institutions of higher learning examinations, road and tourist safety, major event security, rural safety, and the general safety of the community across the province." Close quote.
In other news, honest conversations with Khalelwayo Build Up movement celebrated International Girl Child in a meaningful way. Partnering with Siaka Sizwe Center in Kuma, the team organized a special event to empower girls and promote their well-being. Now, empowering girls through donations and education, the team donated school shoes and clothes to girls in need, providing them with essential items for their education and daily lives. The event also featured honest conversations on crucial topics such as hygiene, health, discipline, and drug abuse awareness. These discussions aim to equip the girls with knowledge and skills necessary for their physical, emotional, and social development. Let's take a look.
You say this to yourself every morning. Like it. You look yourself in the mirror. Say this after me. You say, I am Lerato Nkala. You can say your name. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I know what I want. I know what I want. I'm going for what I want. I'm going for what I want. I'm definitely getting what I want. I'm definitely getting what I want. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. And I shall rejoice in it. And I shall rejoice in it.
In more news, COGHSTA Portfolio Committee today held an oversight meeting with the Northwest Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs over the 2024-25 annual report. The head of the department, Dr. Ben Bol, said part of the achievement in the municipalities includes support of various programs which include sound municipal administration and good governance, anti-corruption measures, functionality of ward committees, and the reduction of unauthorized, irregular, wasteful, and fruitless expenditure. Committee Chairperson Honorable Khalelwayo called on the department to submit a comprehensive report on the impact assessment done on the mentioned programs. And on to this, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System, informally known as the Madlanga Commission, has entered a critical and highly secretive phase, hearing explosive testimony from an unnamed source known only as Witness X. Now, in a closed session, the proceedings are conducted in camera. However, the media and the public are entirely excluded. This extraordinary step has been taken to protect the identity and safety of the witness, whose evidence is understood to be directly linked to the ongoing criminal investigations and intelligence operations central to the Commission's mandate. Evidence leaders successfully argued for a closed session, citing the extreme sensitivity of the testimony. Though details are scarce, the very existence of, or rather a protected witness, speaks volumes about the gravity of the corruption allegations being investigated at the highest levels of the criminal justice system. Commission Chair Judge Madlanga described the nature of the proceedings.
By agreement between the parties, the evidence of the in-camera witness to be called today, that is Tuesday, 14 October 2025, and Wednesday, 15 October 2025, will be heard as follows. A, the witness will testify remotely and off camera. B, the answers of the witness to questions posed by the evidence leaders will be repeated publicly through an intermediary whose voice will be broadcast live as he or she repeats the witness's words. The witness's anonymized statement with exhibits will be displayed live on screen as the witness testifies.
And on to the story now. Minister of Transport Barbara Creecy, joined by the Premier of Limpopo, Dr. Proteas Ramathuba, at the Louis Trichardt Hospital, said to visit the victims of the bus accident that occurred on the N1. Now, 43 foreign nationals have now died after a bus taking them home overturned. The crash happened on Sunday night as the bus was moving through a mountainous section of the N1 highway in South Africa's Limpopo province. According to transport officials, the bus veered off a long road along a steep mountain pass and plunged down on an embankment. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa mourned the high death toll, which includes 7 children, and said that was not only a tragedy for the country, but for our sister states of Zimbabwe and Malawi as well. Outside the Louis Trichardt Hospital, Minister Barbara Creecy praised the organized healthcare system of the province in the face of tragedy.
I really want to take this opportunity to thank the Premier of Limpopo, the MECs, and in fact the whole healthcare system and emergency services system of Limpopo. You know, when you come into a terrible tragedy like this and you see a very organized system of recovery, a very organized system of making sure that all patients have been visited, have been accounted for, a very clear program in terms of dealing with post-mortems of the deceased, and also a program in terms of identification of survivors and deceased. It's really important. We don't feel in any way that these people have been neglected. So I really want to take this opportunity to thank the Premier and her team and to pay my respects to all the professionals.
Limpopo Premier also gave feedback on the current state of the crash victims.
We're here at Lutrichat Hospital, where we are now left with, out of the 19 patients, we're left with 13. And the 13, the minister together with the High Commissioner and the Ambassador have been able to have an opportunity to interact with some of the patients, especially the children. We are satisfied with the conditions. So up to so far we can appreciate, and I must thank the team from health, from EMS that responded, activating their chopper, because some lives would have been lost if we did not act swiftly.
Moving on to international news now, Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has fled the African island nation, according to opposition leaders and military sources, marking the second government to be toppled by young protesters in weeks of worldwide Gen Z unrest. Rajoelina's office, which had initially scheduled a national address, did not comment on his whereabouts. Military sources told Reuters that Rajoelina flew out of the country on Sunday aboard a French military aircraft following an alleged deal with French President Emmanuel Macron. Now, in a defiant address broadcast late Monday from an undisclosed safe location, Rajoelina confirmed that he is in hiding, citing attempts on his life and coup attempts by a group of military personnel and politicians. But he refused to resign, insisting the constitution must be respected. Dubbed Gen Z Mada erupted on September 25th over persistent water and power shortages, but rapidly escalated into a nationwide uprising against corruption, bad governance, and the high cost of living. In more international news now, 20 living Israeli hostages and almost 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were freed on Monday. The release of Israeli hostages took place in stages. They were released in two groups, one group of 7 and a group of 13. They were first handed to the International Committee of the Red Cross by Hamas in Gaza. They were then met by the IDF troops who escorted them back to Israel. Now, there were tears and cheers in hostages square to the news that the hostages were on their way home. Some were, however, not returned. Hamas announced shortly after it handed over the living hostages that only 4 deceased hostages remains would be returned to Israel for now. Though the Israeli defense minister condemned Hamas's failure to meet its commitments, the 4 coffins were transported back to Israel. Bereaved Israeli families have expressed anger that only 4 out of the 28 deceased hostages have been handed over so far. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke to world leaders in Egypt after signing the Gaza ceasefire deal. And with that, let's take a quick look now at the business news. In the business news, excitement is building for the upcoming Villages Market set to take place on Saturday, the 1st of November in Makwelang Mabiskral under the theme Celebrate Local Craft, Culture and Cuisine. The event promises to be a vibrant celebration of local creativity, culture and community spirit. Now, the Villages Market aim to promote local businesses, artisans and food vendors while fostering community engagement, tourism, as well as entrepreneurship. In more business news, in a compelling address at the Kgalema Foundation's Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum, the governor of the South African Reserve Bank, Legislature, discussed the evolving relationship between exchange rates as well as tariffs, highlighting both historical context and present-day implications for the South African economy. The focus of his speech was the dual nature of exchange rates and age-old concern compounded by the contemporary challenge of tariffs. And that's all from the business news. Your sports update follows next. In rugby news, the border team have defeated the Pumas by 41-38 in a nail-biting final to clinch the South African Under-21 Shield title at the White River Rugby Club north of Nelspruit on Saturday afternoon, while the finalists for the Under-20 and Under-19 Cup competitions were confirmed following the semi-finals which took place over the past weekend. Now, border scrum half Sinalo Jivana secured a win with a late penalty, finishing a match tied at 6 tries with each 3 conversions, while the Pumas fullback Divan Spannenberg scored 1 try and 3 conversions. Moving on to cricket news now, Nadine de Klerk demonstrated her reliability as the Proteas' late innings finisher, hitting the winning runs with a 6 to secure a close 3-wicket victory over Bangladesh in their ICC Women's World Cup match on Monday. The results mark South Africa's 3rd consecutive victory, elevating them to 3rd place in the tournament standings after a challenging contest against a determined Bangladeshi team. And that's where we're going to have to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow evening. Till then, good night and take care.